I'm so crazy about love, never knowing what love's all about.
Broadcasting live from the Kiss Gower Law Studios. Get the power of Gower. GowerLaw.com. Kiss 107.1 is WTLC Saginaw with Steve Harvey in the morning.
Mornings can't get no better. It's the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
And simply the best R&B all day.
Y'all be jamming.
Listen live on your smartphone, in your car, at work, or live at KissWTLZ.com. We're Kiss 107.1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. I'm excited for you guys being here. To shout out to my man Jeffrey Bulls, the first person in the social media stream. To all of those of you who are coming in, let's please like, tag, and share this conversation with those in our community. Call your cousins, your family, your play cousins up the street. Let them know that Straight Talk is on. I want to give a shout out to everyone in the city of Saginaw who is operating in the space of positivity, who is making great things happen, who are out there being great and making our community a greater place to be. Now, I'm going to tell you the thing that I really am excited about. I'm excited about a lot of things, but I'm excited about the fact when we get through just past MLK Day in January, the days seem to start getting longer. And so we're not spending so much time in the darkness. I am a person, my clock moves with the circadians of the sun. So when the sun comes up, I am up. When the sun goes down, I happen to want to go to sleep all the time. So it has been a chore for me trying to get up at 4:30 in the morning to get to the gym. And then by the end of my workday, about 5:30, it's time to go to sleep. But I'm glad that the days are getting longer. I was coming into the studio today and there is still some sunlight out there at 6 o'clock. I'm ecstatic about that. But to all of you that are out there doing great things, getting on your grind, getting your hustle, let's put in the work now. This is February. If you started something new, you're doing a New Year's resolution and you're getting it going, stick to it. Don't give up. Let's keep pushing and make great things happen. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Jeffrey Bulls, who had an amazing cap conversation just a few weeks ago. And then also he is one of the leaders in our Saginaw Food Collective that did yet another food distribution on this past Saturday. And so we are just trying to meet the needs of our community. Karen Lance Webster, Danita Dorsey, all of those, Bishop Camel, all of you that are out there that are continually doing work, making great things happen. I'm so excited. Today, we're going to talk about the election. We got to talk about this election that's coming up, and we're going to get straight to the heart of the matter, as we often say. Y'all know how I give it to you. I give it to you straight, no chaser, no filter. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. For all of you that are out there, today was the last day of early voting. I believe, if I'm correct, Jeff, correct me if I'm not, I believe it is. We have in the studio stream, you'll see her on the other side, Miss Amaya Bradley, who is a trustee. So she kind of knows some of these things. But we're going to talk about this election that's coming up. Yes, you do. I'm going to give it to you straight. We're going to talk about this thing because I think it's so super important. What's happening here. My words are going to be very direct, very honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell you the truth, as I always do. But before we do that, I just want to say, hey, I'm going to take a second and I want to give us a Black History fact. This is Black History Month. And so my thing is, there's so many facts about Black history. We have learned about the American Revolution. We didn't heard about the cotton gin and Eli Whitley. We didn't heard about all of the things, but it's time for us to really get rooted and grounded. It doesn't matter if you're Black. Black history is American history. And that's why we're bringing it to the forefront. Because so much of this information has not been shared. And so we want to make sure that we do that. Absolutely vote on Tuesday. Dr. Pamela Pugh for State Senate. That's my guy, Jeffrey Bulls, out there. We're going to talk about that, Jeff. Give me just 1 second, and we're going to get in there. And I believe that you guys are going to be blessed. One of the things that I think is my responsibility whenever you're giving a platform is that you make sure that the community and those who are your listeners understand what's at stake, what's going on. If there were, initiatives that were important for us to talk about, things that are on the ballot in addition to the regular voting, I would also share that information. But today, I think it's important that we really get knee deep in this conversation about what's going to happen at the polls and what we're doing and making sure that we get folks out there. But our little known Black history fact, and for most people, they don't know that when we think about New York City, I was just in the wonderful city, New York City, this past, December, right up until New Year's Eve was the day I came back. I love New York City. I love everything that it has to offer, all the things to do. But there's something that we want to talk about today in our little known Black history fact. And it is about a village in New York. We know about Wall Street. We know about all of these cities and towns that existed across America. And we often are led to believe that Black Wall Street was one of the only places. It was the only place that existed out there in Tulsa, but that is not. These cities were all over the place. As a matter of fact, while the world was experiencing, the rest of the U.S. was experiencing the Great Depression, if you look at the time when the Renaissance was taking place, it was that same time. So the world was turning down, but Black villages and communities were turning up. We were thriving as the rest of the world was experiencing a Great Depression. But I want to talk to you about a little known Black history fact about that wonderful place called Central Park, is what we know it as of now. But really, before it was Central Park, it was a village called Seneca Village. And it was during the 19th century. It was a predominantly Black middle class community located where we now see that wonderful green space in New York City called Central Park. And particularly this village, Seneca Village, was between West 82nd and West 89th Streets, 7th to 8th Avenue. That's a lot of land. It's a big city. And it was established in 1825 and was a thriving, independent, like I said, largely Black property owning settlement with churches and schools, about 300 or so residents before its destruction in 1857. Some things that we should know about this is that it was founded, as I said, in 1825 by free African Americans once they came to the North, and it provided a stable, safe, autonomous community that was able to live and to govern and to operate within itself. The barter system, for those of you who are not out there, was a major part of how they operated within that community. And it was an amazing place. It was destroyed in 1857. The city of New York, as they often do, this is what always happens, eminent domain steps in, and they needed the rich, wealthy folks wanted a green space. And so eminent domain came in to acquire the land, forcibly removing all of the 300 residents that lived in that community, and created Central Park. And so now much of this history has long been erased. And so there is this effort to rediscover this. And in 2011, archaeological excavations found evidence of the community that once existed, according to the Central Park Conservancy. So just wanted to give a shout out. Every single time we come during the month of Black History, we always talk about Black stuff, but every time we come during Black History Month, I want to make sure that we're giving you a little known Black history fact so that you understand that we are 365 Black. All right. And then I want to move over. As I was saying, this past weekend, we had an amazing to do some work here in the community with the Saginaw Collaborative Food Collective. And what we want to do is just kind of give a shout out each month, this collective and the city of Saginaw. You all are the ones who made this possible. There were a number of churches, community groups, individuals that came together. And this started back in November when they were threatening to cut off the SNAP benefits And so those individuals who are forward thinking, who are progressive, said, why are we going to continually sit here and be gingerfoot and tiptoe around situations? The village has to take care of itself. And therefore, we created this Saginaw collective for food and insufficiency. And we have been, ever since then, we said, why stop? You all that are out there, you churches, many of you churches, community organizers, individuals, and beautiful people have just said, hey, we're going to support our own citywide food coalition. Thank you. I struggle sometimes with these names. I hear this stuff, but it's the Saginaw Citywide Food Coalition. And it is a coalition. Thank you, Jeff, keeping me honest, Saginaw Cap. It is a coalition that is, and I think that might be Danita, that is responsible for feeding our community. So we had a food distribution this past week. We've been doing one every month since then. There is one that is slated for the month of March. We moved this one a little bit forward. But please stay tuned. And if you're interested in making a donation, we want you to reach out to the Saginaw African Cultural Festival, because they are the ones who are responsible for the fund, really taking care of the funds. They are our fiduciaries for this particular thing. So I'm extremely excited about having the ability to take care of ourselves. Okay, so before we get to that, let's talk about this election that's coming up. I know some of you are probably like, okay, when are we going to get to this election conversation? But let's talk about this election that's coming up. So on Tuesday, which is February the 2nd, or the 3rd, is it? Today's the 1st, tomorrow's the 2nd. So February 3rd, we will have an election. It is a primary election to see who is going to represent on the side of the blue guys, blue and red, for the vacant position, or the vacant seat that is open when our former state senator, now turned Congresswoman, Kristen McDonald-Rivet, vacated that seat it was over a year ago. And so Dr. Pamela Pugh is out there. She is vying for this position. There's also another guy. I don't really know him. I was trying to figure out where I knew him. I know his name, Cedric Green. Is it Cedric Green? Yes, Cedric Green is also the other candidate. I don't know him. So I know Dr. Pugh, and we've, it's interesting because I've been watching some of this. It's interesting that a guy who is involved, I think it was a firefighter or something of that nature. That's a firefighter. That's what it is. It's almost a tongue twister. But he's come in and I've met him. He's a nice guy. He seems to be cool. I don't know him. We've sat and had some things. I think he has a very interesting story. And I think that in the future, if he's interested in politics, that would be something great. Maybe city council, move into the city, get involved with city council, maybe a trustee position or something of that nature, so that people can be made aware of as to who he is. What is interesting to me is this. I have been actively involved, and I say this with all good heart and good intentions, but just to say from this perspective, I have been actively involved in community work since about 2000. And a lot of that work then was with NBA athlete Jason Richardson. It was representing his interest in the community. It was paying for creating scholarships, the turnaround scholarship. There was a turnaround award that had existed, but we said, hey, let's add scholarships to this turnaround process. And so that's what we did. And so for about 15 years, there were scholarships that if you won the turnaround award, meaning that you had behavioral issues or some things, maybe bad grades, and you turned it around, we gave $500 scholarships to every student in Saginaw County that were doing that. Then there was another distribution of funds where he gave of his own $100,000. And so I helped to coordinate those distributions, which meant organizations that were partnered with the United Way would have these funding opportunities that were there. Then many of you would remember the Jason Richardson golf outing. And with that outing, we were able to raise nearly $750,000 over time with donations and events. And we were doing all of these things, working with organizations in our community, grassroots organizations. During that time, I would run in, and I grew up, let's be honest, I grew up with Dr. Pam Pugh. I went to school with her. We have known each other for a long time, but I came back, and when I came back to the city of Saginaw, I was working with her. I saw her at First Ward and at the community centers, and working with AXO and all of the things that she's doing. She's been a longstanding member of the NAACP, doing that work. And so it was interesting how someone who has had a life of public service, someone who has continually been working, fighting for the needs and the issues of our community. We know her as the state board president. And so she has been out there. When we saw the Flint water crisis, she was out there front and center. All of the things that are going on. And I do not like what I've been seeing. And it's sad, because this is not Democrats versus Republicans. This is what the Democratic Party in some areas are doing to another Democrat. And I don't like what's happening. And for those of you who have stood out, and this is just a black thing or a white thing, this is a people thing. And because there has been many of you who are not black who have been standing up and saying that this is not right. The villainization of a candidate, and just really questioning everything down to, is her skin color really her skin color? But what was interesting about this for me, and I've just kind of made some statements and I've been posting, but today I just really wanted to be clear. Like Cedric Green, Mr. Green is really great. Now, the funny thing is that we fail. I failed on the other side of some of my political friends who are out there. Miss Rosa Holiday, Representative Amos O'Neill, people who I love, who I've supported, who I've donated to causes that they were a part of, I show up for on a regular basis. Mr. O'Neill's my guy. But I've never seen before. I didn't think that I was surprised when he came to endorse. I was surprised not by the fact that the Democratic Party at large here in Michigan did not want Dr. Pugh to be in that particular position. It is one of the worst. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Jimmy Green. It is one of the worst campaign season that he's seen and I've seen in a very long time. I see norms being abandoned, but I'm going to tell you why this is important. It lets you know Michigan for a very long time has been, if you go back and you look at that initial election with Donald Trump, it has become a bellwether, a Saginaw bellwether city. But this particular seat represents a very vital role in terms of our governing and what's happening in our government here in Saginaw. It is the balance of power, those types of things. So the Republicans want this role, but the Democrats are also wanting to have it, but they want to control the narrative. And so now I got to tell you all about this. In a community, the people of that community, please hear me, Village. The people who live in a community. So this represents Saginaw County at large, Bay and Midland counties at large, this position that is up for the 3rd on Tuesday. And so the community, if you've been in the community, then you know what the community is saying. Community workers, this position is the second time Dr. Pugh has run for this position. As I said, I did not vote for her because I did not think she was the best candidate the last time around. I voted for Kristen McDonald-Rivet. To the chagrin of many of my pastors and coalition, I don't do what people say because I'm voting for her because she's black. I'm voting for the best candidate. And in that moment, I went with what I felt. Now, in this moment, I believe that the best candidate is Dr. Pamela Pugh. And I need to explain to you why. Politics and what's happening politically does not happen in a vacuum, but there are connections. And what happens in another place has implications and can have entailments into other places. What we see on the national level taking place, what we see in Minnesota and other cities like that with ICE and other places, these are things that could easily happen in a great city, a great state like Michigan. And when we look at the communities that we have, wherever you have migrant workers, you don't necessarily need. Remember, the reason that people are getting these two things conflated. What's happening in these places is, initially it was about, undocumented immigrants. And then came about, we're sending these officers into Minnesota because of documents and files and our personal information. And now we're seeing that ICE agents have killed two individuals, shot two individuals. For me, it is about who are we going to have that would be bold enough, that would be courageous enough, if these types of things were to take place in our community, that would stand up and fight. I think that in order to do that, you have to understand the nuanced approach in which the way politics works. You have to understand and have connections to organizations like the Congressional Black Caucus and the NAACP and all of these other facets that are so key to fighting the good fight of faith for the village. Dr. Pugh has a long time for my situation, and this is not a commercial for her, but this is just people have asked me, Mr. Bowen, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? And I'm just saying at this time, based upon what I'm seeing, when so many rights and so much equality is going in reverse for the first time in my life, I can say that the fight for equality is in reverse. Reassessing who is an American, reassessing the 14th Amendment. What does that mean? Reassessing is due process necessary? Reassessing what are the roles, the rights, and the responsibilities of the executive office. Reassessing the fact that we have a Supreme Court strongly leaning to the right that has basically abdicated their responsibilities and walking toe step with a presidential office. Assessing the fact that we have a congressional place that has basically said, you know what, we're going to allow him to redefine what presidential powers mean. So all of these things are important. And so we need people who are willing to stand up and to fight. If you're out there in the village and you're saying, well, I like Cedric too. I think he's a nice guy. And when he called me to say, hey, I like, to have this conversation. Many of you thought that I endorsed him because he asked me to say a prayer at his campaign launch. But he's a nice guy. So he asked me, and I said, I need to be clear that this doesn't mean that I am endorsing you. And he was cool with that. But as I look at this and I look at everything and everyone that's in this political scene, it is important for us to have someone who knows us, who's been with us, who has fought for us, and understands the importance of this moment. Now, I'm going to read something here. Jimmy Green, you said a lot, but I'm going to get this out of here. Jimmy says, I don't mean to point fingers, but this is a reflection of the failure of the chair of the local party. I agree. That position in a party apparatus is to peacekeep. They're the bridge in this chair. In this case, the chair is running for the same seat and unable to referee a race that he's already in when he's running his own campaign. Neither of the other candidates can utilize him as a neutral, uninterested party when he is their opponent. And that is very problematic. There is no referee in this crazy game that we're playing. And it tends to fuel distrust. This rarely ever happens when the chair is running their own campaign. Well, this is the thing. And I love that young man. And he has a great future. I think that he did what was important. He got into the space that was necessary. He made himself known. He got involved with the process, and all of these things are good. Nobody is guaranteed a role or a response or a position in this fight. But the problem is when there are no referees, what takes place? Now, what is interesting, and I've seen this happen with Brenda Moore, I've seen this happen with Representative Amos O'Neill, and it's now happening with Dr. Pamela Pugh. Individuals, I don't understand. Every time I turn on I can go to TikTok, I go to IG, I turn on my TV, I watch Netflix, and I'm seeing Cedric Green all over the place, saturating the market. And so what that lets me know is that there are some big political PACs behind him. The powers that be are behind him. And what I'm saying when Brenda Moore, Amos O'Neill, and now Dr. Pugh are individuals. Amos has done an amazing job of building a coalition without the power of the party, of about working with all people. And now I think that he has substantiated himself in such a way because he supports and is fighting for the entire community. You'll see him at fishing and wrangling with the anglers. He's riding cowboys and horses. He's in the village, rolling up his sleeve. He's reading to kids. And that's what you have to do. When you are not the party's chosen, you have to create your own coalition. So Dr. Pugh, I know the community is out there. The village has spoken. However, you are not the choice of the party. We understand that, but that does not mean that you cannot win this bid. It means that those who are part of the community have to do what community members do. We have to began to community organize and make great things happen. I agree with you, Jimmy. Once again, there should have been a resignation of chair, a young a neophyte in his role, learning how to do this thing should have been given some direction on how this whole process should play out. I'm going to take my first commercial break. I'll be back with more of Straight Talk.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Hi, I'm Carl Williams, former state representative from Saginaw. I once ran for this Senate seat, and I know what it takes to do the job. That's why I'm supporting Pamela Pugh. Pam and I work together on childhood lead poisoning prevention, both in legislation and in the community, protecting children's health and standing up for families. Pam just doesn't talk about leadership. She's proven it. Please make your plan to vote for Pamela Pugh by February the 3rd.
Paid for by Pamela Pugh for Michigan.
O'Reilly. Choose Rain-X Rugged XL wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Their extra large profile and premium features are made for all driving conditions. Save $16 when you buy a pair of Rain-X Rugged XL wiper blades, plus get 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
This week's deal to Pat's Food Center in Freeland has sold out. Pat's is open 7 days a week and proudly serves the Freeland area. Come in for the best grocery experience in town. Pat's Food Center has been a family-owned and operated store since 1955. These deals go fast. Don't miss out on the next one from RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Sniffles and sneezes got you down? GoodRx is here to help with big savings on commonly prescribed cold and flu meds. GoodRx is free and easy to use. GoodRx is accepted at all major pharmacies like CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. Just search your prescription, find a coupon, then show your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx is not insurance, but it works whether you have insurance or not. If you do, GoodRx may beat your copay price. Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com to save today.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOOD for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOOD for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HOOD.
It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
All right, this is Kareem. We're back with more of Straight Talk. I just wanted to say thank you for all of those who are out there. Just let me get some things off of my chest. Let me tell you why this is important. It's important because we have people that are going to vote for us. We have to have people that understand the landscape, the people, and how to get things done. And then also, it's important for us to realize, and this has always been a case, we will have a candidate that we support. And then the powers that be will throw another candidate out there to split these votes. And so it's important for us to understand that when we have made a decision as a village to coalesce around that individual, the village picks its own leadership, okay? But what this also means is that there has to be a process, and I've said this a million times, there has to be a process, a vetting process that we are building leaders, that we're encouraging other people to get involved. When they are encouraged to get involved, we are then showing them the ropes and creating opportunities for them to lead in local spaces so that they can be critiqued on their leadership, and then empowering them with a platform so that they can use their voice. And so I'm so thankful for everyone that's out there. I want to get into, I'm going to spend just a little bit. My producer has taken a quick hiatus. I was going to bring him into the stream, but Hurley, I want to say exactly what you're sharing. He says, I have not been quiet about my issues with this campaign. Too many historic precedents are being trampled. We can still do this if we choose to vote. All right. And so, it's interesting. I posted something about voting, and, I don't know what it is about our community. I think that many people, and I want to be careful for what I'm saying, because I think that people have the right to have whatever political view that they have. My only thing is just make sure that it makes sense. Let it make sense. And I have been getting hit with some direct messages from folks, not today, but just over the past couple of weeks, about this. Hey, the black church. One guy sent me a video of a man saying that the black church is going to hell, and if what they really need to do is to find a good white church to attend, because black churches and black pastors are ill-equipped to handle this stuff. And so we get so much nonsensical stuff that is thrown at us on a regular basis. I'll be doggone if you also think that you're going to tell me what we need in a leader. But we're going to bring in the stream. We're going to get out of this, right? Get out and vote. Your vote counts. Your vote matters. We got to shake the trees, shake the leaves. Everywhere there's a vote, let's make it count. You see this wonderful face here in the stream is Amaya Bradley. She's going to come in with a little bit of motivation. There's a lot that has been happening. Conferences, food distributions. Maya, why don't you just share a little bit?
Hello, everybody. First, I want to say Happy Black History Month. Oh, what a great month to be alive. First, let me start off with a little motivation. If you are down today, please remember that you woke up this morning. God started you on your way. We have different challenges and everything, but always remember, keep on going. That's what I want to say first. Secondly, we had a lot of great things going on this week. We had Saginaw Township's first food distribution, spearheaded by Saginaw Township, but I directed that food distribution. It was amazing. We were able to feed over 300 families. It went smooth. I liked how it was pretty quick.
Let me say this, Amaya, and Jimmy, I got your comment. I definitely want to read that comment. But Amaya, I want to say this because it's interesting. You came in and you've been working with the collaborative that's been taking place here in the city of Saginaw that we addressed earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And you've been working, and most of those have been in the city locations. And you said, wait a minute, how come the township, they got hungry people too?
Right.
So we're seeing people cross over into the city for the distribution that takes place. You went to the powers of being like, listen, I'm a trustee here. I want to fight for this. Why are we not having food drives in our community? And what's interesting is that most people would think, oh, it's the poor people on the east side who need it, right?
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that there is a new face of hunger. There's a new face of food insecurity, and you tapped into that. Now, this is what I want to say. First of all, I want to give you your flowers. Congratulations, kudos on even having the wherewithal to think that way. Secondly, the thing that I want to say is that while we were there, the township showed up for this food distribution. You had supporters among, your colleagues, but what I mean is there were lines that were indicative of the fact that hunger and food insecurity is not a black or white issue. It is not an east side or west side issue. In fact, people are struggling because unlike what's told was going to happen, the cost of eggs have not gone down. The cost of milk has not gone down. The cost of prescription drugs have gone up. So there's a need for these types of programs. Great job. What else you got going on this week?
Thank you. Also, I want to put in that, sorry. I also want to put in like what you were saying about the food insecurity. The fact that I got a phone call at 5:00 in the morning saying that we already have people lined up and the first person got there at 12 a.m.
Yeah.
That right there just made me filled with joy that I was able to pull this together with the help of the Eastside Soup Kitchen with Miss Diane Keenan. But it also hurt my heart because these are the things that's going on in the community. And it's like some people don't see it, but it's a need.
As long as one person sees it, that we can meet the need, then that's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hurley Coleman is saying Alice is everywhere. For those of you who are out there, when we talk about Alice population, we're talking about asset limited, income constrained, employed. And essentially what that means, the working poor.
Yes. And so we do have more things going on. We have the Help CVI conference coming up February 21st. I'm excited. I'm so excited. We have Big B coming. We have a lot of special guests coming. It's something really, really big. A lot of people don't understand how big this is. Anyways, just bringing the community together to stop violence, to be a community where we're trying to be proactive and everything. I think that's very good.
Some of you are probably saying, why is this bubbly young girl on here? Because I wanted to make sure that we created a space. I think that we all have a responsibility to teach the generation and to replace ourselves. And so Amaya is someone that is very poised. She's very involved. And she has a desire to be on the mic. So what better way to transition power than to bring her in and allow her to have a voice and to draw in a younger audience. And we've seen that in our demographic. But what's important about CVI, and I want to say this while you guys are there. You guys hear Help CVI, you hear about CVI, Community Violence Intervention, and what that is. Because we are operating and we are building an ecosystem. An ecosystem is that environment that is necessary. All of the key players. When we were kids, they talked about an aquatic ecosystem, and so you would talk about water, and you talk about moss, and you talk about tadpoles, you talk about lily pads, and all of those things. Yep. Well, when we're talking about violence, the ecosystem for community violence intervention, we are now approaching community violence as a public health crisis. And what that means, just as you saw with COVID, COVID came in, schools had a role to play. Initially, they shut down under the direction of one leader. And then eventually they learned, hey, there's a dormancy process. There's a way that we can do this. We can stay safe. So we came up with this understanding that 6 feet, social distancing, the idea of social distancing. And so everyone played a part. So schools and law enforcement and hospitals and teachers and families and parents and daycares all were working together so that we could rid ourselves of COVID. And now we've reached herd immunity, which means that we have the ability now to deal with the issue. And now we have vaccines and we have this thing under control. Jeff Bulls isn't just stopping violence or even violence at all, but redirecting our young people to more productive spaces. Well, I want to make sure that we understand that this clear. Community violence intervention, it falls in a pathway that most of us don't understand. There is something called intervention. There is something called prevention. And then we have the other pieces called community development and community investment. So when we talk about intervention, we're talking about strategies that have the ability to make an impact between 0 to 3 years. If you're not doing something that has immediate impact, 0 to 3 years, then it's not intervention. Most work that we're seeing happen in our community falls into that 3 to 5 year period of time, which is prevention. And when we talk about prevention, we're talking about things that are important, that work. But intervention means that we're having street engagement. It means that we're having credible messengers and people in the community. It means that we have individuals that have the ability to get to the people that are directly in line and involved. We're intervening in situations. We had a situation where one of our street engagement individuals was able to create a ceasefire between two parties that were literally fighting at each other. That is intervention. It happens now. And then we look at that 0 to 3, 3 to 5 is prevention. It is mentorship programs, those types of things that take some time. It is jobs training and skills development. Those are prevention measures. And then we have 5 to 10 years, which are community development. It's where we're coming in and we're building curbs and green spaces. So all of these are a part of the ecosystem. But when we talk about intervention, we're talking about 0 to 3. When we talk about prevention, we're talking 3 to 5. And when we talk about community development and community building, neighborhood development, we're talking 5 to 10 and up to 15 years. So we are having a CVI conference to make sure that everyone in this community understands their role in what's going on, and everyone has a part to play. For those of you who feel like, hey, I live in a safe community, I need you to understand violence anywhere is a threat to violence everywhere.
Yep.
And so if everyone does not have the right to be able to go home and lay their head on a pillow and you are in that community, trust me, it's going to come knocking on your door. And so it's important. We have a major build out that's coming that is called the Medical Diamond. And I want to say during the Memorial Cup, there was a situation. Our city was under siege by a rash of violent crimes and shooting. The north side, east side, one situation was right on Millard Street, around the corner from the big game on the Memorial Cup. I was concerned because we have people that are here from other countries. I was concerned because it is a bad reputation that it was able to be put out there about our community. Then to see something like that could have been detrimental to those games. If violence continues in the way that it has been continuing in the city of Saginaw, if it trends upward, the Medical Diamond is a threat. So whoever are the coordinators for the Medical Diamond, all of the people who are responsible for that coming in, the new medical school that there is, it going to come? Is it not going to come? Any business that wants to do business in Saginaw has to first of all feel that the people are going to be safe. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is important. We talk about community development and planning. There needs to be 18-hour living for people to live effectively in downtown Saginaw. For people to thrive and have community and bring kids and dogs and all of the things that when we talk about living in a community, for that to happen, there has to be 18-hour living. For 18-hour living to take place, that means there have to be restaurants downtown. Yep. There needs to be a grocery store in the downtown or east side general vicinity. All of these things are necessary for communities to develop, right? But what that also means is that those places have to be considered safer. That means that safety has to be a key piece of what's happening with the development of this Medical Diamond. So hospitals, doctors, they are all a part. We are bringing Dr. T, we call him Dr. T, is Talupe, and I cannot pronounce his last name, but he is a board certified surgeon in Detroit. He runs a program called D Live, showing hospitals how they can get involved. Now, Maya, you've been doing a lot of prevention with our young schools, our young girls, in all of the city schools that we're working with Thompson, with Arthur Eddy, and then also going over and overseeing and working with the young people over at Success. You this weekend took a ton of girls, 20 girls to a dance troupe. You've been working in these intervention programs. Why do you think CVI is so important? And what is the impact that you have seen in terms of the work you're doing?
Well, what I see a great impact on it, what I see and everything. You have students that get into fights a lot. You have students that have come from a bad background where it's hard for them to adapt to a new way. But if you show them a different way, they'll like, oh, okay, yep, I think I'm feeling it. I think I'm feeling it. You always say consistency over time builds trust. And just being around these young girls, even these young men, us being there on a regular basis and communicating with them, it doesn't just happen. People also have to remember that me just going into the schools, that's not where it starts or where it ends. I have to continue to talk to these kids outside of the time that I'm there, and reaching out to them, talking to them outside of school, and reaching out to their parents to make sure that they know that they have somebody there that's advocating for them, that wants to do stuff for them, that want them to be a part of something bigger and better. Some kids haven't even been to the bowling alley, and that is sad itself. And that's not because of the parents just doesn't want to take them. Some parents can't take them. They don't have the transportation, or they don't have
those barriers.
It's those barriers, and that can make a child feel all different type of ways to make them angry, to build those different things. But with the programs that we have in place there, we help them with stress management, anger management, helping them with cultural awareness and all those different things with peer pressure. They're learning those different things so they can use it in their everyday lives.
And so I think that's super duper important. So the CVI conference is coming February the 21st. That is a Saturday. We need everyone here. We have clinicians and experts that are coming from Detroit and Kalamazoo, Big B's from Kalamazoo. We have law enforcement and community organizations. We have our state CVI department, along with individuals from Nick Jr. that are also going to come. We're going to be talking about how do I get funding for the programs that I'm operating. If you're doing programming with young people, this is a conference you want to be at, because for the first time, the Department of Education, I believe it's upwards of $15 million that they've been given to do programming for safety and other things. So we're going to talk about how those dollars can be spent. What do you need to do? Go to helpcvi.org. If you are interested in getting a booth or a table or being in the conversation, we need you to register, get that going. It is going to be great. It's going to happen from 9 to 3 p.m. on Saturday the 21st. We'll give you more information as that happens. But really quick, before we go to this break, real quick, I just want to read this comment by Yancey Wingard, who I always enjoy. Jimmy Green, I wonder how many have had intentional conversations with each other, speaking of the candidates, have had with potential voters in the city of Saginaw. Even better, I'd like to know what questions they ask those constituents. Then Jeffrey Bowen came in. That was a comment. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with our final closing remarks on Straight Talk.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on Kiss 107.1.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Are you always on the hunt for a good bargain? Find all kinds of things to keep you busy inside all winter long at RocketGrabPlus.com. Great deals from local places like Yogurt Yeti, BC Golf Simulation, Poker Face Aesthetic Club, PD's Dugout, and K-Wall's Kitchen. It's cold outside, but the deals and savings are hot at RocketGrabPlus.com. Visit RocketGrabPlus.com today for all the details.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Hey, I got you something.
What's this?
Just a little Galentine's gift from Jewelry Television.
JTV, I love their jewelry. I had my eye on this pearl bracelet on JTV.com. Plus, I love their colored gemstone jewelry. And have you seen their gold?
Right now, take up to 70% off select jewelry and gifts at JTV.com.
You are not going to believe their gemstones and their artisan collections. Gorgeous.
Are you going to open your gift?
It's the pearl bracelet.
Visit JTV.com.
Need parts fast? Need them now? O'Reilly is fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly Auto Parts stand apart. Right now at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts, you can get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 qualifying brake rotors. Ask the professional parts people about additional brake pad and rotor upgrade options available at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MATCH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MATCH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MATCH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Feeling overwhelmed or sad? Struggling with your mental health, substance use, or thoughts of suicide? Turn to Michigan's 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Call, text, or chat 988 for free confidential support 24/7. Dial 988 or learn more at michigan.gov/988. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on Kiss 107.1.
This is Kareem, and we're back with more of Straight Talk. Before Mr. Green put this in the comment, I want to in the chat. I want to make sure that we get this. I want to read it. I've been in Republican politics for over 30 years. That's true, y'all. He's a Republican. He used to be. He is a reform. No, I'm just joking. And here's something that's always been true. Democrats need to like their candidates. Republicans don't. They understand power, and liking the candidate has nothing to do with each other. The vulnerability of Democrats is just that, how much they like their candidate. My guy, please, that is a statement that is, I can say that about Democrats, but I can also say that about the village. We need to realize there are other communities that say, hey, if we're going to get to the bag, if this is going to make us better, let's do what we got to do. Let's work. We don't have to like each other to work together. And I think that's super important. We've got to make sure that we understand. Sometimes I think that this crab mentality that we often hear or talk about, if it's not us, we don't want it to be anybody. But the fact of the matter is, when we support one another, when your opponent or whoever it is, if we support them, guess what? Then we have an opportunity. We create pathways to success. And I think that that's super duper important. I wanted to go back to Miss Amaya. Amaya, you have a conference that's coming up. I didn't give you a chance because I jumped in because I was so excited about what was going on. But I want to allow you to finish about this girls' conference that's coming up. It's happening so fast. Talk a little bit about Girl You Make Things Happen.
So Girl You Make Things Happen. At first, a little background story about it. I started it when I was 16 in 2019. And my first conference, we had over 150 girls. It was successful. It was great. Girls loved it. They still talk about it to this day. I have people come all the way from Mississippi, Texas. It was just amazing. Last year I had brought it back. Due to COVID and everything, I paused, and life challenges, I had paused. And I said, I don't know, but with the encouragement of you pushing me and everything, it encouraged me to bring it back. And having it last year, it was amazing seeing the young girls be there, seeing how they enjoyed themselves, but also got something out of it. So this year we're doing it again, and it will be in April 18th. And I had a lot of parents and young people reach out to me saying that I want to be involved. I want to go. I want my child involved, but it's the age group is not a part of the group that you are allowing to come. But this year I'm opening it up to 4th and 5th graders.
Okay.
And because I work with those girls, and that's not fair to them. If I work with you on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, and I have these other young girls that I work with, and they're allowed to go, but you're not. So I'm opening up to 4th to 12th graders, and also to the mothers. Mothers, I want you all to gather something out of it. I want you to, it is going to be a class called Navigating a Relationship with Your Daughter. So
wait a minute. Say that once again.
Navigating a relationship with your daughter.
Okay. For all of, what is the tenets? Explain to me what this is about, because I love the title.
So we all know if you are a girl mom, or even if you're a daughter out there, you know, mother-daughter relationships can be a little rocky.
Ooh, the estrogen gets high and the house goes crazy. Yes.
Mother-daughter relationships can get a little rocky, but also young girls need to know that even though your mother is your mother can also be your friend. But mothers also need to know that your daughter is not a threat, because some mothers can get intimidated by their child because of the different opportunities that their child has versus what they had growing up. So this particular workshop, it'll be for mothers to just really get tools from the person that's will teach it. Well, Alethea Nichols Taylor will be teaching that class.
So how do we build stronger relationships, mother-daughter relationships? I'll tell you, there's been a lot of focus on relationships between fathers and sons, and there's a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
But I often say, if we don't work with our girls, who will our sons marry?
Yep.
And so it's important for us to understand that just as that mother and that son have to have a relationship, that father and that son have a good relationship. Mothers and daughters, that relationship is very essential to our women growing up to be fully who they've been destined to be.
Yes.
And then also, girls need their dad as well.
Yeah.
And so the way that we connected was that I was a surrogate dad in your life, one of many.
Yep.
When the other man didn't bother, Phil became your father. That's Shaquille O'Neal. Y'all go look at it. But there is a need. Girls need a male who can speak destiny and purpose and affirm who they are for young women, just as we do for boys. So I'm excited about this conference. What's the date? When are we looking at that conference?
April 18th. April 18th. It is a Saturday, and it will be at the Horizons Conference Center. 9 a.m. is for registration, but 10 a.m. is when we'll get everything kicked off and started. I'm excited. We're actually partnering with Let's Dance Summer Camp as well. Have some of their girls come and dance. So if you want to get connected with them, with Miss Jada, and I think her name is Terry Sims, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
But they do their dance class. That's where our girls went yesterday with that dance camp, and they loved
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
They loved it. It was amazing.
All right, so we are rounding out the end of this hour, but I want to encourage all of you once again, please get out and vote. It is Black History Month. Let's make history, Black folks. And I also want to say to those who are out there, we're going to have a real conversation. I've been talking with my brothers on the Brown side of things, and just their whole situation, what's going on with ICE, what's going on in their communities. I said to you all at the very beginning of this, that ICE in a community is not about the brown folks. It's not about undocumented individuals. It would soon turn toward, I thought, who were the people of their ire, which were African-American people. Our nation has had a long storied history, and people say, Kareem, you can't say about that. You do this, you work in nonprofit, you can't do these things. But the reality of the situation, we now have seen a journalist in the person of Don Lemon. Don was a person who was a journalist. I saw him when he was on CNN. Sometimes he was not my favorite. But the fact of the matter, we are now threatening the power of the press. When we see press being stifled and not giving access, that is something that happens in dictatorial countries. This is when we have dictators. The first thing that they do is they control the narratives. How do you control narratives? You control media. We now see individuals where the people who own the social media platforms, there's so much misinformation that it's hard to determine what's real and what is not real. So when we have journalists, and I'll say this, I don't think that anyone should break into a household of faith. I'm a pastor, so I have a great love and affinity for that. So those protesters, it was not Don Lemon who broke in with the protesters. Don Lemon was covering the story of what had happened, and what it was, as we all understand and we know, that these white evangelical pastors who are preaching that what we're seeing is okay. One of the pastors was employed and an officer, a leader in the ICE agency in his community. So he's working for ICE, which is detaining people, which now has to its list murder and has been harassing individuals. And then he preaches from his pulpit behind the Resolute platform. And so folks went in there because they were outraged. And I struggle with this new definition that we're trying to see. Because in many ways, I'll make this very personal. When George Floyd was murdered by Chauvin, none of the white pastors, I was a part of the citywide coalition that would pray every first Wednesday of the month at the police station. It was at New Life at one point, and they had moved to the police station, and I would go and be a part of this ecumenical prayer service, which was beautiful, Black and white folks and all that together. When George Floyd was murdered, none of those individuals thought that to reach out to call or to say anything like, brother, we're standing with you. I had one individual, Chris Schwinn, her husband, reached out, and I think they're somewhere out in Burton, Michigan. And they reached out and said, Pastor, we're praying for you. I know this must be tough. Because what white American doesn't understand is that before George Floyd, there was a Trayvon Martin, and the list, Tamir Rice, there were so many, Sandra Bland, there's so many people that were there before. But with George Floyd and with these other individuals, we could see ourselves in that moment. It was a moment that we had rehearsed and had shared, and were screaming from the highways and the hedges that this is going on. And for the first time, America saw. And so it became a Back the Blue. And so that particular group that was meeting down at the police station, many of them were Black, backing the blue, which I support my law enforcement officers. I have a family that is paramilitary and many who have served in law enforcement here in the city of Saginaw. And it became not just backing the blue, but it became a racial issue. And them saying that these protesters were illegitimate and they were blowing up stuff when that was not the case. And there were conversations that were had. There was a lack of empathy that had been shown. And so I said, you know what, I cannot, in right faith, I was torn. You're my brother when it comes to my love and faith, but when it comes to the issues that impact my life, you stay silent and you side with the opposition. So I withdrew from attending those, and I have not been back since 2020. And so now we are seeing now they're going even further. White evangelicals, in many instances, have become synonymous with Christian nationalism, white supremacy. And so it is important that we understand as we do these things that Christ is a God of love. Christ is one who said we got to take care of one another. We prefer the other over ourselves. He is one. And so we have to understand that we cannot allow our faith to be hijacked. We as a community cannot allow detractors to come in and to stir the pot to where we that work together and love together cannot stand together in unity. But it is about us standing up against every voice of dissent that says that we are not better together, that we do not stand and fight for one another. And that's what I saw happen with my brown community. And, you know, they were pushing, and many of them voted for Donald Trump. But when they realized that they were the other, and the words of Cornell West, that we were the other, when they N-rised the entire community and treated everybody like they treated N-word, the Black people for decades, we are now coming to the realization that it is not about black or white. This is about green or white. It is about green or no green. It is about money. It is about power. It is about authority. So Tuesday, get out there, vote at the ballot, vote for your conscience, vote for your people. When you vote, you exercise a right that was fought for, that was bled for, that was died for. I love each and every one of you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Grace and peace.
You've been listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen by the host, its guest, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Alpha Media USA, or its advertisers.
Broadcasting live from the KISS Gower Law